Mm-hmm.
Amen. Here we are. Welcome, everybody, to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse podcast,
where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And we are truly here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good or be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
You know, we often talk about things that people don't want to talk about. However, they're important subjects that need to be discussed, to decrease the stigma for healing. And today we are celebrating nurses.
Oh my gosh, are we ever? So 2021 is the year of the nurse and the midwife.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be highlighting and illuminating cannabis nurses and nursing as we are truly, truly in a revolutionary time where we're changing how we approach, how we take care of patients. So we're truly changing how we look at, how we approach, and how we take care of patients.
Yeah, we don't all wake up one day and decide to enter the cannabis industry. I mean, there's usually a compelling story that goes along with the plunge, right? So
Absolutely.
What makes someone enter into the cannabis space as a nurse?
Very good question. Very good question, Mark.
and you're going to have the answer because we have a guest. Sherry, introduce our guest.
So excited to have Caitlin here. So Caitlin Bernhard, she's a nurse practitioner, is the CEO and founder of Azalla Health and Wellness. She's a nurse herbalist, massage therapist, and one of our consulting nurses and certifying nurse practitioners at the Green Nurse. In addition to being a nurse practitioner, she's done some amazing things in the health and wellness space, helping patients to live their best lives. Besides being a nurse, she's a yoga instructor, a Reiki practitioner, a nurse herbalist, doula, and massage therapist. That's just amazing. AFA, right?
AFA,
so she earned,
right.
Yeah. So just think about all the stuff that she's done in such a short amount of time. It's truly a gift to all of us. Earned her bachelor's in science and nursing in 2011. Shortly after that, she obtained her master's in nursing. And in 2014, she began working as a family nurse practitioner. And then just like all of us, and we're going to find out a little bit more, in 2017, she entered into the cannabis space as a nurse practitioner, providing consultations and medical card certifications. And we were so lucky to grab her in 2020. She joined the Green Nurses, and she has founded Azalea Health and Wellness. She plans on opening up a CBD and wellness store to complement her consulting practice. And we are so happy she's part of our Green Nurse community and one of the practitioners. And we are really, really excited to share her all with you. So welcome, Caitlin. It's been just an amazing ride. We all first met at the American Cannabis Nurses Association in 2019.
How many connections came out of that, Sherry? Really, right? Caitlin, how many connections came out of that one event in New Orleans? And it was just magical.
Mm-hmm. Truly magical. Yeah.
So we've been making history and miracles ever since. So, generally, like Mark and I said, or Mark mentioned at the beginning, we all don't wake up one day and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a cannabis nurse. There's usually a compelling story that goes around with it. So what brought you to cannabis nursing?
Well, it's funny because first I had my other kind of holistic practice going. I was doing body work in New York City in 2008 and had a really good practice. And then there was a recession and the wellness centers were just going out of business like dominoes, and dominoes falling down the chain. And I was in a program at the Landmark Institute, which actually Mark is familiar with too. And it's a lot of soul searching, and decided to get into nursing as a way to be able to work with people, not being so dependent on private wellness centers. But secretly I wanted to work with cannabis. Cannabis has been an ally of mine, herbal ally, for a very long time. And I've worked with her in many different ways and was hoping to be able to do what I'm doing now. But at that point, no nurses were talking about it in 2008. And then even by the time I had my master's, nurses were not working with cannabis openly. So I kept it on the back burner and just waiting and hoping. worked for several years as a family nurse practitioner, was absolutely miserable, saw my own personal health really spiral downward and out of control, ended up with a major surgery, anxiety, fierce insomnia, and then was like, okay, this is enough is enough. It's time for some major changes. I need to reconnect with who I am. And part of that spiraling and that negativity was because I was really closeted about my cannabis use and unable to work with her as an ally for fear of drug testing and for fear of stigma. So I found some guides who helped me reconnect with meditation, with wellness coaching, and managed to that was kind of what propelled me to take the plunge and become an independent contractor, leaving a cushy job with 401k and benefits and paid time off. Not that it was easy to take that time off, but I had, theoretically I had it. Took the plunge, became an independent contractor, and I was doing a little personal review yesterday, and was realizing that although I left that cushy, benefited job, I'm actually doing better working less now because I followed my dream.
There you go. Wow. That's
amazing.
That's fascinating. So you talked a little bit about the stigma. Did you find it not only in the medical professional, but even in your personal life? So you've had a nice, healthy relationship with the plant, but were you also plagued with stigma around that, not only in the professional realm, but in your private realm as well? Did you?
I would, yes. And the way I've dealt with that for a long time is just avoidance. Don't really bring it up. Don't talk about it. And so the past years have been coming out of the grow closet moment for myself, as well as my family gets comfortable with this. My people who I wouldn't normally think would be positive about it have been really accepting and interested to hear what I have to offer. So it's actually been an incredibly positive experience. I don't think I've had any negative reflections over the last several years.
See, you hear that, nurses? All you nurses out there, this is going to be mainstream. We are here.
Exactly.
We're here. It is. It's not going away. And, like we talked about this today, we talked about it this afternoon, is the National Council State Boards of Nursing in 2018. It's the Nursing Regulatory Board that puts out the NCLEX exam for nurses to become licensed in each individual state. They came up with a call to action that all nurses, nursing students, and advanced practice nurses must have 6 essential areas of clinical knowledge when it comes to cannabinoid therapeutics. That's really powerful, and we were talking about that earlier. And it's like, once you go down that rabbit hole of learning about this plant, you go down the cannabis rabbit hole, you can't go back. You can't unlearn what you learn.
Do
you guys agree with me?
What do you become, Sherry?
You become a
pickle. You're a pickle. Once you're a cucumber, and then you get down that rabbit hole and you're a pickle. You'll never be a cucumber again. Sorry.
You'll never be, and
you'll never go back.
And you'll be an infused pickle, right? Yeah. Those are the best kind of pickles ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So truly, I mean, when you started to learn about this, Caitlin, were you blown away as we were?
Yes, I took it was the course from the Cannabis Medical Institute. And that was still while I was working at my other job. And so I was being pretty quiet about it. I had found ACNA, American Cannabis Nurses Association. I joined them with an alternate email that didn't have my name on it. Then I changed it to the other email. Then I changed it back a few times because I was so afraid that I would be on a list somewhere. And I took a course with TCMI, and it was the course there are 2 courses. There's one for RNs. That's associated with ACNA, and I took the one for medical providers as a nurse practitioner, and it was great. It was wonderful. I learned a ton, and that was that was the jumping off spot. And I was really fortunate in my first job working in the cannabis clinical industry. I had an opportunity to create an educational program and do talks at senior centers and community centers and all across Massachusetts and Connecticut. So the process of that allowed me to really dive deep into research, which lit up this, love of science that I've had for a long time, and is really inspiring. And that's, and again, that's just the beginning, going down the rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, and this, and you just, even I learn every day. I learn every day from my patients. And Sherry just was talking about some new information about CBG, and so exciting.
Always something new to learn.
Always something new to learn. And this is what's so great. The plant is a true miracle. It really, I can't say enough. It's the best adaptogen. It helps people with resilience. It helps people to adapt to stress. It keeps our body in homeostasis and balance, truly like amazing. So I want to get into a little bit more too about you and some of the other things that you do in your practice. So, you consult with a couple of different companies, you work with the Green Nurses doing consulting and medical cards, but you also have Azalea Wellness. And part of that is health coaching and incorporating all of those endocannabinoid system nourishing activity. So I want to talk about some of those other things too, because it's really important. We all talk about that, is that cannabis is one piece of the pie, and that there's other things that we offer and educate on just to see if it resonates with people, because, cannabis is expensive, and we as Green Nurses can help you to save money, by truly incorporating these different things. So what are some of the other therapies that are favorites of you of yours that you educate on?
Well, one thing I love to educate my patients on is about making your own medicine, which works, coming from an herbalist perspective is, second nature for me. I have jars full of various concoctions in every room of the house. Here's my little tincture area right here. You can't see it, but yeah, it's just making that next step with it's expensive. It is expensive to purchase from dispensaries and wherever you're purchasing online. You can make this yourself. It is so easy. It's a plant. It's a weed. It's called weed for a reason. It grows. You plant the seed and it grows. And that's like planting seeds. Empowering patients to make their own medicine is planting the seed for so many other things. I like to do yoga, but I only go to yoga classes. You can do yoga at home. I like to I like to exercise, but I hate going to the gym. You can go for walks. You can work at home, work out at home. There's free resources everywhere. So a lot of what I'm doing is just sharing resources and empowering people to look inside and see, well, what are the things I like to do, and how can I do that in a way that works for me and is fun and easy and makes my life better, and then I can be better for my family. And so I can incorporate so many different things: energy work and deep listening and wellness coaching, and the list goes on. But often I do come back around to yoga. I come back around to other herbal remedies, and I often it's really patient driven. What does the patient want?
Yes.
What's the patient interested in? I can talk till my lips go numb about doing yoga, but if someone hates yoga, then they're not going to do it. So
absolutely,
that doesn't work for you. What might work, or what do you find interesting?
Yes, that's what I love too, is that, as the Green Nurses, we're asking our patients questions. We're not making it about us. We are truly asking the question, what is important to you? How do you want to live your life? Right. And customizing education around that, meeting patients where they are, having that connection, just like you said, that listening, that truly being present and being in their presence and listening to what they have to say. And generally, you and I both know, Caitlin, 9 times out of 10, by the time we're done with the consultation, the patient's already telling you what they need, because you're asking the correct questions for them. You're guiding them down that path. It's like, we're going to hold your hand until you're ready to let go. That's what's so beautiful about this, is educating and empowering patients to make choices that are best for them.
Yes, exactly.
Cannabis Nurses for the win.
That's right.
In so many ways.
Oh, yeah.
So, Caitlin, a couple other things. What is your favorite way to use this plant personally?
I don't think I have one. I love, I'll give some examples. How about examples from the last week?
Sure. Perfect.
I had a series of migraines over the last week, and I had a CBD lotion made from a colleague in Colorado, Star Tender Apothecary. Beautiful CBD lotion, really helped with my migraines. I applied it several times a day. And that was, I actually went a day without remembering it. I said, oh yeah, I should try that lotion. Within minutes, I felt better. I like to smoke regularly, and I smoke usually in the evenings, and I like low THC percentage or mixed with CBD. I'm actually a lightweight when it comes to THC, and it's taken me 20 something years to figure that out.
So Caitlin, you've done a lot of research.
Research, trials, successes, and errors. Edibles. I make my own edibles, and I do have some from the dispensaries. Again, I try to combine CBD and THC, maybe some CBN. If I've some of my friends who are growers have given me really old flower, which is great for CBN, a little more stimulating. Tinctures. I've got my CBD tinctures everywhere. I've got 2 different ones here. Here's a new one from Cannabis Botanicals, hemp flower essence. This is a lovely one. I put a couple drops in my water. So I really mix it up. I'm trying to hit all the receptors.
Absolutely. So here's the other thing too. So you're an herbalist, and I'm going to tell you, at the beginning of COVID last year, you made me an awesome tincture with nettles and all kinds of other cool things in it.
Right.
So what are some of your other favorite tinctures that you like to combine and the benefits? Because this is important too, because we were talking on In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio to Dr. Spellman, and we were talking a lot about nutrition, phytobotanical nutrients, plants, combining plants, and how, the entourage effect or the synergy, not only with cannabinoids, but other things that we put into our bodies. So what are some of your favorite herbal concoctions that you've made that complement cannabis?
Oh, I love this question. I made a personalized tincture for myself just on solstice on December 21st. That was CBD, St. John's wort, and what else? Little dandelion for groundedness, and skullcap, which is another great nervine, great for the whole nervous system. St. John's wort being good for mood, but also the nervous system. That's my daily. I take a few droppers a couple times a day. I made a new sleep tincture. Again, is a CBD THC combination. It's an interesting one. It came to about a 3-to-2 ratio with CBD and THC, and combine that with some valerian, hops, linden, all really nice, relaxing herbs. And then my newest thing is to add in a little bit of honey to my alcohol tinctures to make it yummy. And so I added some lavender honey into the sleep tincture.
Yeah.
And I'm also adding hawthorn. I'm big into hawthorn. I actually had a hawthorn bonanza in the fall where I ended up with a huge bucket of the berries and have made a bunch of different wonderful products with that. And hawthorn is really nice for the emotional heart, and just I think of it as my take heart tincture, and I think we all need a little take heart tincture right about now. So I'm adding that hawthorn into all of these different tinctures, and to kind of give everything a little bit more boost and a little bit more, bring it to a little deeper level, heart chakra level.
Oh gosh, we love that. Energy, light, and information. Let there be light, let there be light, let there be light. Right? Yeah, so that's amazing. So just think, everyone that's watching out there, is we have a nurse that can teach you how to make your own tinctures, not only just using cannabis, but other phytobotanical nutrients. I mean, that's amazing, Caitlin. That's really, really powerful stuff. And just to think that we have the capability of teaching people how to do this on their own.
Right. And it's easy. It is.
Yeah.
Mason jar, plants, and alcohol. You got to tinker, and time and love.
Time and love.
Yeah, you can't
Exactly.
forget those.
Can't forget that at all. So Caitlin, tell us a little bit more about Azalea Wellness. And tell us how you decided to formulate that new company, CEO and founder, brand new company, consulting and CBD. So how did that come about?
It's been percolating for a couple of years now, and when things changed for me in terms of my job, over COVID, over the pandemic, some time opened up, and I've really been able to focus on that. And so it's slowly coming to fruition. And this is my little business baby. It's developing 5 arms, and one of the arms is cannabis consultations, medical card certifications. I work with a couple different companies doing that. And then there's the educational piece, which I want to be offering more education to medical providers. I'm hearing some great things from patients about how some of their medical providers are resistant and then interested after they're starting to see progress. And I think education is the key for that. And
totally
get people on board and just be interested instead of having just say no attitude. And then and also making your own medicine. And so there's an educational piece. There's wellness coaching, which I weave into these other pieces as well. And that's, living your best life, and who do you want to be? How do you want to be in this world? And then there's the CBD products. And that's, for me, I'm not starting my own product line. That's a whole can of worms I'm not really ready to open. But I want to support my local farmers and local medicine makers and connect patients with farmers in a way to creating that link between the plants and the people who grow them. And then the fifth arm is just starting to develop now, and that's turning into more about advocacy and social justice. I want to really bump up the community building around issues like criminal expungement, and health disparities. Want to work with more groups like Last Prisoners Project, Cage Free Cannabis, and just really explore what we can do together there if we work together across the nation and also locally. I want more local community.
Yeah. That's what we're doing at the Green Nurses. We want to bring the community together, an inclusive community. It's truly about bringing hope and inspiration for growth and healing. It's a new way of how we're able to connect with people and teach them about things that they haven't learned about, stuff that I didn't learn about until a few years ago. Yeah. So congratulations on having your autonomy.
Thank you.
Full practice authority. And so for new people that are out there, I'm going to let you explain what that means.
Well, in Massachusetts and many other states, and I don't know exactly which other ones. I've been working with Massachusetts here. Nurse practitioners until January 1st, 2021, had to have a supervising physician who signed off on our prescriptions. And so this is for prescriptive authority. We are educated to prescribe. We're expected to prescribe, and we had to have some doctor, MD or DO, to sign off on our paperwork. What this turned into was just paying people off. And
it was just a side business for
felt like
extortion. That's really all it was.
Yeah, it felt like extortion, and it also felt like keeping us under their thumb. And I know that, there are a lot of great MDs and DOs out there who do not feel that way, but that's what it looked like from our perspective.
It was legacy, right?
It was legacy. I don't know what it was. It was ridiculous. My supervising physicians I never even met or spoke with, but we had to pay them huge amounts of money just to sign off on
It was
it.
a franchise fee. You were a franchise of that particular MD or DO.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. In Massachusetts, the Health Policy Commission, that's the commission that advises the governor on all things health policy related, did not have a nurse on that board until 2 years ago.
Interesting.
Right? We love it. So I was on the board of the ANA for a period of time, and we worked diligently to get a nurse on that Health Policy Commission. And finally, years of just hammering away, they did. They have a nurse on there. Imagine that. The largest group of healthcare providers, right? Healthcare workers is not represented on a Health Policy Commission. Massachusetts has come a long way. We have that. And now, oh my gosh, full practice authority.
That's really, really, really exciting. It's just going to open up so many doors for so many different practitioners, especially too in the cannabis space, So say, for example, Caitlin, there was a new nurse practitioner that wanted to become a nurse practitioner. What would you tell them to do? How would you tell them?
Well, first of all, there's an education piece. Diving into some scientific education around the endocannabinoid system, either with a course, but some people don't learn that way. So there's also mentorship, and that's a great option. That's another great option. Because if you're someone who doesn't learn well with reading really dense scientific papers and then filtering out what you need and what you don't, then find another way that works for you. And there are courses, there are CEU. I've seen things on Medscape. I was taking, back when I was terrified to be found out, I would take my cannabis CEU courses on Medscape and print it out and hide the paper so that nobody would see it. But I would say start by educating yourself, and also join the community. And we are so welcoming. I've never been so proud to be a nurse practitioner as when we were at the ACNA conference and I looked around. We had LPNs, nursing students, RNs, NPs, people with their DNPs, educators, and people, and people who'd been retired and came back, returned, and researchers, and everybody is on the same level, respected and heard. So
that's
it's
inclusive.
Very welcoming nurses group. The Cannabis Nurses group is, we're so passionate about this plan and about the possibilities of, providing amazing therapeutics with it.
Yes, absolutely. And we need help. We need more nurses. We can't do this alone, and that's what we're here for too. We're here to help you to figure out, how to navigate the system, what's important to you as a clinician. How do you want to incorporate this plant into what you're already doing as a clinician? Because anyone can incorporate cannabis education into what they're doing in the health and wellness profession. Anyone, it's when you learn about the endocannabinoid system, it's a no-brainer. Said it over and over and over again, that everything that we're doing and not doing in our lives affects it. And you can even break it down. Mark, you had said this, all conditions all disease processes can somehow be related back to the endocannabinoid system.
Yes. The NIH said that. The National Institute of Health came out with a statement a few years ago that said the endocannabinoid system is most likely indicated in every disease state. And that when I read that, it just blew me away. Like just how involved, and it's just at the base of everything, right?
Absolutely. The base.
It needs to be taught in nursing schools, and it needs to be taught in medical schools.
That's why we are here. We're here to infiltrate the community, with the endocannabinoid system knowledge and plant medicine and progressive therapies, to truly help people become independent. So a couple more questions. How do you see us being able to improve the medical program here in Massachusetts? Because we've been working together for a while now, which has been really awesome. You've been a huge asset, but things are starting to shift and change. How do you see we can improve it any even better?
Well, this past year with switching to telemedicine has been so good for so many patients. Are my patients with severe PTSD, severe pain, who are wheelchair bound, who have all of these barriers to coming into an office are able to be seen in the comfort of their own home. And that is huge. And that needs to continue, for one thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then I would also love to see a similar caregiver program as to what they have in Maine, where our caregivers are able to have storefronts. There are so many amazing growers who have years of experience growing small batch, beautiful products, and who are hiding or, in the gray market because of the medical program here. And I would love to see them be able to share their knowledge with others and share their products with patients. So, and then that would also, I think that would ripple outwards, and then we'd see a price drop. That's another thing that absolutely needs to happen. Yeah, it needs to be more affordable from the dispensaries. Patients need to be able to get the CBD and amounts that they can actually use taking every day, larger amounts than 4 drops, 4 milligrams a day, which is what some people are able to afford if they're purchasing strictly from dispensaries. So, I would love to see, I think that expanding offerings would be a good way to bring that down. And then I'm excited about the newest program, the delivery program, and that goes along with our social equity program. So excited to see what that's going to bring for us.
Yeah, me too. I think it's great. I think Massachusetts is doing some wonderful things. We have some great activists, great advocates, and passionate nurses and healthcare providers that truly want to see more people have access to this, to the plant, to the education, so they can use it in a way that's best for them. So benefits of getting your medical card in Massachusetts. So we have a little list here. And if you guys want to pipe in, pipe in. So save at least 20% on taxes, right? Medical patients don't pay taxes at the registered medical dispensaries.
That's right.
And there's 56 30%, depending on what each town wants to add. Towns can add in an extra 9%. So it could be.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. So taxes, you save on taxes.
Save on taxes. So that's big. So let's just give an example. So say you have $100 purchase, right? $100 purchase. If it's taxed at 20%, you're going to be paying $120. Right. So you would save $20 if you had your medical card. So that's just an example right there.
Right.
Then I'm not even sure how many dispensaries there are, but I know there's a lot. There's 56 plus medical dispensaries. I'm not sure if the list has been updated. Yeah. That's what I had on my list.
Yeah.
And then there are the dispensary programs for patients. So there are programs for low-income patients or patients with disabilities, might get 10 or 20% off. Great veterans programs. Some of them are 40% off for veterans every day. Some are once a week, 40% off, which is already in addition to that 20% off just for being a patient. Compared to the adult use prices.
Yeah, so that's great. So discount programs, vouchers. The other thing too that's nice too, having a medical card, is there's medical cannabis home delivery, which is essential. Being in the pandemic, being home, and being homebound or wheelchair bound or having issues getting out of the home, being agoraphobic. No, just kidding. Delivery is really important to these patients. Having a medical card allows you that. The other thing too that I love now is the laws changed. So now so we can register up to 2 caregivers who are able to pick up our medicine on our behalf. But also now what's really cool is the caregiver program's expanding. So now caregivers can care for 5 patients, which I think is absolutely amazing. And to be able to have a specific a grow of, I think it's 500 or 5,000 square feet. I think, I'm not sure the exact. Is it 500 or 5,000? I'm like,
I don't think it's 5,000. That's a lot. That's a big grow.
500. maybe that's wishful thinking, right?
Yes.
500 new laws. Yeah.
I know, right? There I am. I'm manifesting 5,000.
Oh, dollar pre-rolls on your birthday at some dispensaries. That's another benefit. That's a
Yeah.
So that's good. And the other thing too, for medical patients, higher dosed edible products. Sometimes patients do when they're starting off, we see that they need a little bit higher dosing in the THC. And basically an adult use dispensary, you can't get as high of a milligram as you can at a medical dispensary. Mm-hmm. So that's important. What else do we have here on this list? Oh, patient supply is protected. So medical dispensaries must reserve 35% of their supply for registered patients.
Right.
Which is great. And then the other thing too, I wanted to ask about, Caitlin, is that when patients are getting registered, they're allowed to grow and maintain their own 60-day supply, right? So you're able to determine how much that is, right? Isn't that like a certain amount of ounces you're allowed to customize per patient what they're allowed?
It's 10 ounces for a 2-month period is the allotment. And some patients, if you're making your own Rick Simpson oil, you need to have at least, I would bring that up to 16 ounces over a 2-month period. You want a pound to make your month's supply of RSO. Mm-hmm. So that going back to your last question, that would be another, I would increase the allotment from 10 ounces to 16 at the very lowest. And, but I believe that's another change another of the new changes coming through is that now there is a hardship cultivation program, and you have to, I think you can grow 12.
Yes.
And then after 12, you have 12 flowering plants, and that's in addition to your seedlings and your clones. And then after that, you do have to apply for this hardship cultivation license. And I'm not really sure if that's going to be easy for people to get or not. So that'll be interesting to learn.
Yeah. Constantly evolving, truly. Every day I'm Googling. I'm like, oh, the laws changed? Has the laws changed?
I know. Hopefully for the better every time.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hopefully for the better. So we, at the Green Nurse, we plugged this earlier before, but Mark, let's plug our breathwork class for everyone.
Listen, guys, you got to get in on this. Breathwork is a transformational experience. I had the opportunity to do a breathwork class with the person that we have doing this opportunity that we're going to talk about here. His name's Jacques Tyrone, and I was able to take one of his facilitated breathwork classes a few months ago. And it was through Zoom with a bunch of people from around the world. And I'm telling you, it just blew my mind. So just picture being able to transform everything in your life without any outside things other than you breathing in meditation. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I actually have experience with breath work because I'm a yoga instructor, trained yoga instructor too. So as part of that, you get a lot of pranayama and talk about breath and, and all of these different things that you utilize as tools. This is completely different. So starting on January 25th, we're going to do Mondays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. and it's 75 minutes in duration, and it's going to be for 3 weeks. So it's 6 sessions. It will be recorded. And so you'll have access to recordings. If that time doesn't work for you, you'll still be able to participate. And we're setting up a WhatsApp group, so you'll be able to communicate with Jacques and the rest of the group. We're limiting it to 30 people because it needs to be an intimate, 30 people is pretty big, but still it's an intimate group. And if you want to transform your life and start 2021 with just in an amazing place, really check this out. And so, Sherry, you did the 44 breaths. That was one of the little breath work practices that Jacques shared with us. And I did it with you twice. Yeah, we did it twice.
Right. I did it with you twice. And how I can truly explain it is that it was a psychedelic experience without doing psychedelics.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth
Yeah.
of the matter. I felt like my mind was blown open. It was just like that breathing. So that oxygenated blood going to areas of my brain that have been asleep forever.
Wow.
It was truly, truly powerful. I just felt energized, more clarity. I had focus. I was excited. I felt alive. You know, I felt like with the breathing, I filled up all my cells. You know, it sounds hokey and corny, but trust me, you know me.
You will be amazed.
You guys know me. When I believe in something, I just can't keep my mouth shut. So
yeah,
you know, truly.
Right.
And the other thing too that we're offering, which is great. So the breathwork is www.thegreennurse.com/breathwork. And if you participate in this, and if you decide to, you know, participate in the 6-package session, you're also going to get a free energy healing class with myself, Green Nurse Denise, Green Nurse Michelle, and Green Nurse Carrie Lee. So we'll be going to be doing a free class offering information on Reiki, reconnective healing, and Healy, and actually allowing you to experience those frequencies. So make sure you sign up for this breathwork class. You get a bonus.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
That sounds so nice. Sherry, for how long did you feel those effects after you had that breathwork experience? Was that
okay? So the first time that I'll tell you, the first time that I did it, Mark sent it to me in the middle of the day, and I decided to take a little break, you know, from working and to do it. Well, I did it, and I was like, whoo, I had to go lay down. It was like I was vibrating in a really, but it was good. I needed to rest more, you know. But then when I was done, I felt really clear and vibrant and just had energy. Great. The second time I did it was in the morning. So I am not a morning person at all. So I generally like my mornings really quiet. I just like to take my time. Anyways, we did this early in the morning. Well, it really wasn't that early. It was 8. But it was a Saturday.
That was early on a Saturday, Sherry.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, so we did this, and I was like, I'll tell you, it was really interesting. My mind doesn't seem to wake up usually until, you know, I'm kind of on autopilot. But anyways, I felt like extremely stimulated right away. And then after we did that, we went out and we walked the farm. And it lasted for the whole day. I had a ton of energy that entire day. So here's the bottom line is I wouldn't want to do this breath work before bed. That's a fact, because I did it. It energized me. Right. I felt like every cell in my body was alive.
Yeah. Now during those 6 sessions, each session, we're going to learn a different modality of breath work. So there's different types of breath work, you know, based on the rate or the depth of the breath
or the movement. You're like,
times you do it, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's different sort of modalities. So we're going to learn 6 different ones, which and so we'll get the training on it, and then we'll do it during that one session. So that's it's absolutely transformational. It's amazing.
Yes, it is amazing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up today. I want to say, Caitlin, thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah,
showing up. You know, being brave, being courageous. And, you know, stepping out. We're
amazing human being.
Yes, you are amazing human being. And you're
exciting. I really wish I put AFA after my name. I realized I didn't put any of my nursing initials, but what I really want is AFA.
You earned it. You're AFA. Put it on there.
Got it. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. This is really fun.
Oh, good. And just so for people to reach you, you can reach Caitlin at www.thegreennurse.com. She has her own profile on there, and you can reach out to her directly. Her direct email address is right there. And where else can people find you, Caitlin?
Very soon, not quite yet.
All right, soon.
Launching my website. It's still going through the finishing touches, and you can always reach out to me at my email, which is Caitlin@azalawellness.com. And that's AZALLA wellness.com.
Excellent. Yeah. And then everything too, like I said, she's on the Green Nurse website, www.thegreennurse.com. And it says Cannabis Nurses, and Caitlin's entire profile is there, as well as her email. So you can directly contact her. So Caitlin, this has been awesome. So grateful that we connected, and that you are, you know, one of our nurse practitioners. You truly add value, you know, to everything that we're doing.
Yes, you do. And thanks to the people who stopped by to watch.
Yes.
We had a lot of people stop in. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For taking the time and to find out more about Caitlin.
Find out more about Caitlin. Yes. And so we're gonna wrap it up with my favorite tagline. Y'all know what it's all about. What's it about, Mark?
What is it all about?
Living your best life.
Mhm.
All right, folks. See you next week.